Hi, welcome back. I hope you had a nice week and you're ready for another video. This week I'm talking about something that I came across on a translators forum on LinkedIn, and something that I really think should be discussed and should be actually made public, and people should be aware of this and should be aware of the reasons that this shouldn't be happening. Due to COVID-19, every day lots of medical information is produced. Lots of countries are trying to study the virus in order to find a possible cure for the disease, and of course the much needed vaccine that would save us all from it. This means that everywhere around the world there's scientists in Australia studying it, there's scientists in the US, in the UK, in other countries in Europe. Everywhere there is people trying to actually find some cure for this virus, and everything that they find, obviously they publish and they share, because this is not a country operation, is a world operation, and everyone is really trying to find some cure and find some solution for this huge problem that we are experiencing worldwide at the moment. So these documents, they usually published in English, but of course they need to be translated, so all the information is passed for the general population, so the general population actually has access of what has been done and what all the scientific community is doing, and what the developments are. This is very important. I think if we are all well informed and well equipped to fight this virus, we can win this battle faster. So every time that these documents are released and there's new information that needs to be published and needs to be available for the public, of course there is the need for translation. Other languages, other countries need to know it as well. I've heard that there's a lot of people asking for bilingual people to do this. Well, this is wrong. And I'm going to tell you why this is wrong and why it shouldn't even be considered. Medical translation is a very complex field. This is a very complex, they are very complex documents that contain a very specific language that needs to be translated accordingly, and my suggestion is by a professional translator, actually one that is also specialized in the medical field, because it would be someone that is quite familiar with the terms, quite familiar with medical translation, and would be well equipped to do that job. A bilingual person may not have the vocabulary to do that, and a word that may be misinterpreted or not translated accurately may lead to several mistakes, and that's what we don't want in a pandemic. It's that a badly translated document leads to mistakes and leads to the population getting the wrong information and acting in a wrong way. So this is very important. It is very important that it is a professional doing the job. I know that obviously the economic part of it is also important, and in this very difficult situation, there's the world economy is suffering, but I believe that for the sake of all of us, this is not the time, and in this particular case, it's not the time to cut corners, and it should be really a professional translator doing those jobs, because a professional translator, he's well equipped to do that job and to pass that information accurately. Otherwise, some things may be not translated accurately and may lead to confusion may lead to error, and that's what we don't want in a global pandemic. I decided to talk about this today because I think it's something that it's really important that we all understand. A bilingual person may speak two languages, may be able to produce a proper text in two languages, but that doesn't mean they would be well equipped to be translators. Obviously, translators are bilingual. That's a fact. But we are also trained to do our job properly. And that's why these jobs should be done by someone that is actually well equipped to do it. We cannot afford a bad translation on this case. We can never afford a bad translation because a bad translation is always going to cause issues, even if it's just a letter. But in this particular case, in this particular pandemic that is affecting and killing people around the world, we really need people that are qualified to do the job, and we really need the information to be passed accordingly and accurately. So everyone gets the same information and everyone is well equipped to fight this virus. We don't need another case of lost in translation. We need real good translation done and accurately. I also heard that some colleagues talk about volunteering. Some are not able to. So there's options out there. There's really options out there. The importance is that we give the jobs to the right people, because it's obvious that if you don't give the job to a qualified person, you may end up with a lot of issues on your hands, and that's not what you want. You don't want to be paying for a job that in the end is going to cause issues and is going to cause confusion in the population where those documents are going to be released. Also, you don't want authorities in those countries to receive the wrong information and make the wrong decisions. So if we think about it, it's not just a translation. Unfortunately, our industry is sometimes devalued and people think it's an easy job. Well, it's not. And our job may, it's a big responsibility, and our job sometimes may lead to a lot of things. And in this particular case, things need to be translated properly. The population needs to get the right information, and the leaders need to get the right information so they can make the right decisions. Because if something is misinterpreted and a leader may make the wrong decision, that may have dire consequences for that particular country and for that particular population, and in fact for the world. So that's why I decided to talk about this today. So I would explain the reason why it's so important to have a translator, a proper translator doing the job. Even if you have a doctor that is bilingual, that doctor may have the vocabulary, doesn't have the techniques to do that translation and to do a proper translation. So it's always important that a qualified person does that job. And if we really compare translation with any other job, you wouldn't do it with a lawyer, you wouldn't do it with a doctor. You wouldn't go to someone else and say, oh, I think I've got COVID-19. What do you think, if that person was not a qualified doctor? Maybe if, for example, if that person was someone that always liked medicine and stuff, and he would know a few bits and pieces, you wouldn't go to that person if you think you have COVID-19 or any other disease. So the same thing applies for translators. And I think it's very important to let people know about this, because it's a very serious issue. I would recommend that if you have any COVID-19 related material, please contact a professional translator, and if possible, contact a professional translator specialized in the medical field. You will be better served, and your community will be certainly better served with the right information and the one that they need. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was useful and helped understand the importance of this, because this is a serious issue. I hope you are all well and healthy. I also hope you have a wonderful week, and see you next week. If you have another opinion, if you really like to add to this discussion, give me your opinion. If you are a translator that have been contacted to translate this sort of documents, and you would like to leave us a comment, please do. Or if you know about someone that has been contacted to translate documents just because they were bilingual and you would like to share the story, please do. Let's start a conversation. If you like my videos, please subscribe. Thank you so very much for watching. See you next week. Stay safe, stay home. Bye bye.